I'm just going to record both of them today. Here we are. Alan Wake 2. Who? The Alan Wake block has finally been concluded. This one took me 5 sessions. God, did that feel like a lot more. Or, not gonna lie. 5 sessions. We did use the cheats because I really didn't like the combat in this one again. This is another run funded by Neko and Exosparkle, and let's get into it. Story really wasn't as good this time around, as it only got a +5, because I have some issues with the story. And we will definitely get into them, because, yeah, 38 negatives, and the gameplay suffered even more, as it was a -20 to gameplay. Yikes. Which actually means it was roughly the same score as Control, so we'll see if there's any adjustments during this rating video. Here we go. So, let's stay positive. Let's go positive first, and then go from there, shall we? So, I felt like the voice acting was solid, even right from the get-go. As usual, the no big name casting, as we talked about in the Control one, and I'm not hearing the usual suspects, so that's worthy of some praise. This time I actually gave the voice direction a positive, because I actually thought it was on point in this one. In Control, I felt like the voice direction was fine, but nothing noteworthy. In this one, I actually kind of appreciate that. I actually gave a positive to those chapter end songs, as I felt they were well handled. I gave a double positive to both the brickwork and the doodad usage. Very good. I gave a double positive to the external continuity. It feels like it builds upon the events of the first game and even has ties to Control, so double positive there. The manuscripts are once again good foreshadowing. I felt the dialogue was excellent throughout. I love the banter between Saga and Casey, I thought it was legit awesome. I also gave a positive to internal continuity. Despite how wonky the story is, there is some decent internal continuity, as the weirdness is in universe rather than just bad construction. So, good. I gave a triple positive to Saga's Mind Palace. Honestly, what's funny is that I just put it as Nuff said, but Saga's Mind Palace is so cool. It's basically an office for her to organize her thoughts in, and I love that. Great stuff. Speaking of Saga, she is competent and interesting throughout the entire game, and I absolutely love her as a protag. I was a little concerned about her just kind of taking over the protag role from Alan. No, she was the more interesting of the two protagonists. Agonists, as weird as that is. Like, in terms of, like, her storyline, I should be more clear here, because I think I actually gave Alan... No, I only gave Alan one as well. But yeah, no, then yeah, I can safely say Saga was more interesting. Then there's Casey, who is low-key awesome with his I'm too old for this shit. I'm getting, the whole I'm getting too old for this shit vibe. I like that because it feels very, very particular. Although I suppose that should be I hate nature, shouldn't it? But regardless, he's awesome. Alan is again interesting and down to earth, though his being more of a space case this time around is a bit annoying. Admittedly. I liked seeing Ahti again. That was awesome. No question. Then there's Tor. Well, he and Odin shared a positive. I guess I should elaborate on that further. Shared a positive in Alan Wake. 1. This time, Odin is just kind of there, but Tor is awesome with how he reacts to Saga and is honest. I was a dad to Freya. Your mother didn't deserve that. Says everything it needs to. That is legit, by the way, a line a bit of dialogue he has in the game. He literally says at one point, actually, I gotta make a timestamp to show my work on that. Because, yeah, no, he literally has a line of dialogue. I'm sure Future Alex has already shown you. But he literally has a line of dialogue where he says, I was a shit dad to your mother. Your mother didn't deserve that. I'm sorry, Saga. I fucked up. That's what makes Tor so fascinating of a character. He owns up to the fact that he was terrible. And I love that. I didn't do right by your mother, but I'm going to do right by you, kiddo, because I need to make up for it. You know? Alice is interesting in how human she is in the aftermath of Alan's death, aka being trapped in the dark place. So that was cool. Then there was a moment in the intro that I gave a positive to, namely Saga's phone conversation with her child Logan. It's actually really good and a nice, quick, efficient way to humanize her in her very first scene. Then there's Alan's return, which in my opinion is just perfect. Now, yeah, we find out the scratch twist did undercut it, but the explanation of the twist did actually fix it. So here's effectively the progression of this scene. I should make a timestamp actually to show off what I mean. So because Alan's return is kind of undercut by the scratch twist, but it's effectively a great, oh, this is bullshit, oh, this is actually great, is effectively the progression. Action, right? So if Lore ever reviews Alan Wake 2, I am going to be steadfast, like, trying to go to him and be like, okay, look. There is a scene at the end. I'll need to figure out the end of, I think it's the end of chapter 1. The scene at the end of chapter 1. Hold off on giving that positives until you have seen the twist with it. And then the explanation of the twist. Get the explanation of the twist first, then go back and judge the scene. Like put a pin in that scene and then come back to it, kind of a thing. Because, duh, right? But we'll talk about the scratch twist later. Actually, I think chapter 2 is when that scene is, but whatever. Regardless, I gave the intro, which I chop after chapter 2, to a positive. Sets things up nicely and ends on a great hook. The late show section is wonderfully unsettling with Alan, how Alan has no idea what the host is talking about. Love that. Then there's then this was when the Night Springs DLC first reared its head. Specifically, Night Springs episode 1. That is the fangirl one. It's dumb. It's so dumb, but it's funny. So I'm willing to give it a pass. I've already shown this one in Tor's positive, but Tor's discussion with Saga about her mom is awesome and is capped off wonderfully with Tor acknowledges that Saga was raised right. So yeah, no, I am absolutely giving that. I absolutely gave that a triple positive. Good stuff. Now it's time for another triple positive that I am going to absolutely make a timestamp for. Because Dark Ocean Summoning is amazing. Amazing. I absolutely love Dark Ocean Summoning. Summoning. Like, okay, so remember the farm fight in Alan Wake 1? Well, this is even more epic than that, as the song that plays during it is just awesome, and I love how the music is used to good effect. It also helps that Tor and Odin are just playing awesome during the whole thing. So, yeah, no, triple positive to that. Then there's Initiation 4, We Sing. I need to make another timestamp because, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just that whole thing. I'm probably gonna do it like a dissolve transition just into the second clip because yeah, no, We Sing is such a good chapter. It is it is my favorite chapter in the game, hands down. Awesome music, great progression, and it even ends with Ahti humming the song. Like, just yes, just yes. Then there's Alice's suicide, which is powerful, even if I hate what it leads to. Also, Saga's explanation of what really happened with Alan and Scratch doesn't make the twist work, IMO, but it helps. And it also helped kind of make the scene I mentioned before work even better. 43 story positives, but we have a lot of story negatives to go through. Let's get to it. The jump scares. I hate the jump scares in this game. This game is way too over reliant on jump scares, and I hate it. It's so stupid. I hate it. Triple negative. I also gave the atmosphere and tone a triple negative. This is what we in the business like to call trying too hard. I feel like the game is trying to be atmospheric and creepy, but it feels like the cheap jump scare flash games that were all over the internet in the 2000s. Triple negative. I also gave a triple negative to the pacing, as I feel it is wonky as fuck. At best. As it doesn't feel like the game knows how long a chapter should be, as Return 4 and Initiation 3 clearly show with how pathetically short they are. Like, it almost feels like you could have chopped out the chapter transitions for both of those chapters and it would have flowed better. There are several plot points that are dragged out for way too long in this thing. Saga's initial hunt for the clicker coming to mind immediately when I say that. Then the DLC has padding, as there are the random times the DLC is shoved into the story, and are honestly kind of padded themselves. Or padded, as apparently I typed in. What the fuck? Anyways, I gave the story sequencing a triple negative. I feel it's incredibly off, and it feels more like the plot is lurching forward rather than flowing naturally. So, triple negative. I gave a negative for Babylon 5 Effect. The game is trying way too hard to be interpretive, and it just leaves me more confused than excited when I know everything. Empty text is rampant in several sections, as information is just constantly repeated to you. Estevez and Saga's family just did not need to go that way. So, okay. The drama with Saga's family when reality is being rewritten so that Logan is dead, that to me felt like you didn't need that. Like, you honestly did not fucking need any of that. And don't even get me started on Estevez being a fucking bitch for no fucking reason. We're gonna get into that in a second, but like, ugh. It all just didn't feel like it needed to go that way. It's realistic, but it can go to fucking hell. Estevez, speaking of Estevez, she acts like a cunt. And refuses to explain herself, and when Saga admits she was wrong, that is when she decides to work with Saga? Fuck this cunt. And then the Lake House DLC tries to vindicate this shit, and it just gives me a headache. So, yeah, Estevez was a triple negative. Then there's the scene in the prologue that establishes the cult of the tree, which is annoying with the editing and feels a little over the top. And why I actually steer clear of the horror genre in general. You know, it's kind of similar to the problem RE4R, Resident Evil 4's remake, kind of ran into too, because they literally had Los Illuminados ritualistically sacrifice in order to establish that they're evil right off the gate. And it's like, we didn't need that. I really did not like the editing when it came to Nightingale waking up in the during his autopsy. I just felt like that was bad editing. I gave a double negative to Alan's Okay, hang on. Let me just read this out so that we can both be on the same page here. I get what they were going for with Alan's trek through the dark place in his first few chapters, but it does so little to advance the story that it's irritating. Okay, so this is effectively for the first few initiation chapters. This is admittedly more so in hindsight, as I came to the realization when Saga met the gods of Asgard, and then Alan did, and realized that she moved the plot along on more in 1 hour of gameplay than Alan did in 4. I know they wanted to show us Alan's process of escaping, but it really should have been about half as long as it was. As Initiation 2 and 3, as the game calls them, effectively collectively got 2 negatives, which you could literally just say is a negative for Initiation 2 and a negative for Initiation 3. I guess I could have worded it like that, but whatever. It felt like it was all the same point, so I just put it in a paragraph explaining why I don't like the early Initiation chapters. Then there's Return 4, which is way too damn short to be a chapter. Seriously, damn thing was done in like, what, 10 minutes not even? Fucking hell, this is obnoxious. That's the one where you're trekking through the woods as Alan. Ugh. The entire Valhalla overlap feels like padding, and it kind of sucks. That's the care home overlap area, which... Then I gave a moment foreshadowing / writing negative, we're in the negatives. The Alan that returned was Scratch, which was completely telegraphed and ruins the scene where he returns. Then they explained it, which then unruined it, but it still kind of ruins that scene in my opinion, so I'm gonna stick to my guns on that one. Then there was a DLC characterization and writing negative. The entire Lake House DLC tells us nothing important and is used to excuse Estevez's paint thinner guzzling, and I am not here for that at all. Then there was Night Springs Episode 3, which gets all metaphysical, and I'm not really a fan of that. I actually forget which one 3 is, but yeah, I was not a fan of that. Then there's the final scene of Initiation, which can burn in hell with the whole Alan killed Ellis bullshit. I hated it so much, because, it's basically Alan saying, I killed Ellis, no! And I'm so sick of that garbage. I am so sick of that garbage. Scratch! Edge caused psychosis. Not you, Alan. Fuck off. Narrative. Stop trying to paint Alan in a negative light. Because he's on a screw up. That's stupid. Ugh. I also hate the whole scene where Casey becomes Scratch. It just feels like the game is padding itself out and making things longer than they should. So yeah, I gave that scene a triple negative. Then we have 3 negatives of the outro. I kind of hate the ambiguous way the normal ending leaves you. Not shocking, knowing me, let's be real. Which, yeah, this ending hates, apparently. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the ending, because it kind of just feels weird. And almost like this isn't over yet, which is just kind of eh. Also, that mid-credit stinger annoys me. And I also kind of hate how the whole outro just refuses to end the story without going through it twice. And that annoys me. So yeah, 38 story negatives. Let's get into some gameplay positives, shall we? Which, yeah, there were some. There were 16 gameplay positives, but there were also 36 gameplay negatives. So let's get into them. The options are just as good as Control. The flashing lights lowering is a nice touch. So good options. The built-in cheats were once again a triple positive. The autosaves were good. Nightingale was actually fun to take down once you actually fought him. I chop up the intro off at the end of Chapter 2, and by doing so, it kind of feels like it sets things up nicely. Combat, exploration, the Mind Palace, all of it is well presented, despite the tutorials and the first Nightingale encounter being utter shit. Hence why only a single positive. Then, we didn't get another freaking positive gameplay-wise until we got to Dark Ocean Summoning. Like, really? And honestly, but despite that, honestly, even from a gameplay perspective, it feels like the rules are rewritten in your favor. And it makes sense in Universe 2, which makes it even better. The song is a banger, the fight is fun, and the cheats make you feel powerful for once. So yeah, triple positive. Then there's, of course, Initiation 4. Like I said, you saw the clips from earlier. Even in gameplay, I thought that was fun to go through, so hell yeah. Triple positive there, too. Despite not liking the metaphysical nature of it, I did like the gameplay of Night Springs Episode 3. I thought it was kind of fun, and its variety and straightforward nature. So, cool. Only 16 gameplay positives. Let's get into the negatives. So, the tutorials are way too hand-holding for me. I found the enemy design to be absolute dog shit with how much health the random enemies have. As one of the biggest appeals to the first game was how fast enemies were dispatched. I find combat to be boring in this one as aiming feels off, and the filters over everything make targeting hard to manage. I gave a negative to itemization because this is the survival horror version of itemization, which is also done badly. You're not given enough where you have to be strategic with your ammo, like say Resident Evil. No, you're just told to make do, and it sucks. Turn on the cheats. Seriously, just turn on the cheats with no shame, or at the very least, turn on infinite ammo with no shame. I gave a negative to. Whoa, I didn't come back to this. I'm gonna stick to only one for this, but yeah. The lack of a minimap is bad, and the disorienting nature of the first couple of chapters, it just leads to hell. I didn't find it didn't find it get worse and worse as the game went on, as several areas kind of felt like you could actually navigate properly, but yeah. While not as bad as Control's map, I still felt the map was kind of shit. as well, by the way. I felt the visual distinction was really bad in chapters 1 and 2. Be ready to be lost a lot if you don't know where you're going or are easily turned around. Triple negative. Alan is not helpful with his constant look at the plot board shtick. Heck, so I gave an audio spam negative to that. Yet, thankfully, Saga's nowhere near as bad. Speaking of audio spam, during Night Springs episode 1, there is some obnoxious audio spam, and I really didn't like it. There's some obnoxious backtracking as well in the game, and I don't like it. And then there's Walkthroughitis. This game is the king of bullshit, as its puzzles and level design are rife with moon logic and shit that is hard to put into text. Hard to put into text, apparently, as even with a guide, I was failing to progress. So yeah, triple negative there. Like Jesus, seriously, video. If you're gonna use a walkthrough, long play. Use a long play. Hey. Preferably one that doesn't cut out the solution to a particular puzzle. But anyways. Enemy variety is once again really fucking bad. Ed didn't like it. Like it. The non-boss enemies have like five varieties, and bosses have like 2. So yeah, no. Unintentional skipping is all over the place. Nice, with several sections. Once again, I feel weak. It's only a single one this time because I feel like the guns don't actually suck this time, but because of how spongy the enemies can be, yeah, I just don't feel the power. I feel weak without the cheats, and with them, I am bored as fuck. So, yeah. I did not like the first encounter with. I didn't like the first fight with Nightingale. I thought that was stupid and way too trial and error, which bloats a short section into frustration when you don't know what you're doing. So, negative there. Night Springs episode 1 is a little overlong and kind of boring gameplay wise, in my opinion. Initiation 2, called Casey, can eat a dick with its hard to navigate areas and obtuse puzzle design. Yeah, triple negative to that one specifically. Then there was the Cynthia boss fight. Oh, God. Maybe I should show this one off to show this off. Because, yeah, this fight sucked. Mostly because effectively it's like it takes forever to get to the point where you can even damage her. I suppose it's fine once you get past the stealth section, but that's just it. You need to get past the stupid stealth section first. The only thing that keeps this fight from being a triple is the fact that being caught is not instant death. Now, granted, that's probably because I had the cheats on. I don't know. I meant to test that and I screwed up. But yeah. Also, I gave a double negative to Cynthia's audio spam because seriously, she needs to shut the fuck up. Then there's the warehouse during Night Springs episode 2, which just sucked. A no weapon stealth section with bullshit enemy detection. Yeah, that's a double negative. Then there's the out in the night section. The Out in the Night section, which has one of the most assholic puzzles I've ever seen. So yeah, that was a triple negative there. True. I felt the outro had some padding issues. Do not make me go through your game twice just so that I can see the true ending. Ah, yes, that's what I mean. That's probably what I'm gonna put as the category for the Black Records scene. You know, don't make me go through your game twice just to see the Black Records scene, Cold Steel 2. You know, so yeah. Then I gave a negative to the outro in general. Boring at best, obnoxious and slow at worst. So yeah, that's Alan Wake 2. Yeah. I don't like Alan Wake 2. It's a rotten jalapeno to me. Whoops. I I don't disparage anybody who likes this game. I really don't. But Alan Wake 2 is not something I will ever play again. Well, we weren't able to head to PMP anyway, so never mind. Anyways, the words. The thing about Alan Wake 2 is that I don't care for it. I find it's kind of a boring slog of a game. I don't care for it, but it's just kind of there. I don't mind this game all that much, in small doses, but trying to go through the whole game front to back is just ew. You know, I got bored with Alan Wake 2, but there it is. However, the next game on the docket, well, that's a different story because next up on the docket is Resident Evil 4. We're not quite done with the horror yet, but we are into some better horror. Until next time, this is Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walker signing out. Have a good one. Cianari 4.
And I thought this place couldn't get any stranger. Champion of light. Catchy, right? Herald of darkness. Lost in the...